All right, and we are live and here for episode 4 of the All-Star Sports Report. I'm Gary Wells. That's Mike Campesio. We're here. We got a lot to cover. We took Thanksgiving week off last Friday night, and
Hmm.
we're back at it again today. A lot of things to go over. A lot has happened since we
Yeah,
last met up with. But first things
big
first, how you
news.
doing tonight?
Good, Gary. How you doing? How was your Thanksgiving and everything like that?
It's good. I got to hang out with some extended family that I haven't seen in a while, so good to get together. Had a little turkey, so always a
Maybe
uh, always a good time with family. So
maybe a few extra plates of turkey and a few extra plates of pie, because I know I certainly
yeah,
dove in
yeah,
myself.
yeah, for sure. How about you? Have a good Thanksgiving with the fam.
Yeah, for the most part, got a lot of stuff done prior to Thanksgiving, so it was kind of just relax and restation. Watch a lot of football. Get very pissed off on Thanksgiving, thanks to the Bears, but we
Well,
suffer through it.
fortunately,
We
we have to
suffer through
talk
it.
about the timeout or lack thereof. I mean, he got fired anyway next day. So,
He
but
did.
happy
That.
Thanksgiving. Here's your going away present. Get fired.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, that was just terrible execution there. I don't know what Eberflus was thinking. You see him changing the play, so they in a situation like that, they always receive a couple of plays at a time in a 2 minute drill like that, and so they had the second play ready to go for when they had after the first play with that run or pass, whatever was completed there. And so then they brought it was a sack. That's what it was.
Yeah, it
So
was
they
a
brought
sack.
everybody back to the line of scrimmage. They had the play call. Then he changes the play with about 15 seconds left in the game. If
Doing
I'm
that.
if I'm the coach, I'm calling a timeout because you need to get your guys in a good position, and then you make another play to shoot for the sideline to get out of bounds, an out of bounds play of some kind, and then you can kick that field goal to send the game into overtime, a closer field goal for your kicker, and that just the exact opposite happened. I'm not sure what Eberflus was thinking, but it doesn't really matter now because he gone. So
Well, if you see your quarterback doing this, like at the line of scrimmage, like call timeout. Just call it. Don't put yourself in that situation.
well, and I mean between clock management and just the Bears were losing all the weird close games out of that 6 game losing skid. It was heartbreak after heartbreak for sure.
Yeah,
But
it's
again,
it's
he
bad.
gone, so we ain't got to worry about it no more. But um, definitely something we'll be talking about later on in the show for sure. Um, there was an interesting thing that happened. It was, I want to say, BYU versus Arizona State. That next the couple days following that game, where the quarterback threw the ball out of bounds, and they were trying to figure out how much time was left on the clock. But the drunk fans of Arizona State didn't care. They just beat BYU or whoever they beat. And so they're storming the field. And then come to find out, yeah, there's 1 second left on the clock, and BYU has an untimed down, basically. It's not quite an untimed down, but it basically is. And they had to get all the fans off the sideline. That took about 15 minutes. That
Yeah, I did see that. I did
that
see that.
should that should have been there should have been some kind of penalty, I think, for Arizona State
Oh yeah, and I
for
think
delay a
what
game for not controlling your crowd.
wasn't in that too. Like BYU threw the Hail Mary after that 15-minute delay and got stopped at the 2 yard line.
And they got stopped at the 2 yard line. My theory is if they would have gotten a 10 or a 15 yard penalty, we'd be
They would have
talking
won.
about a different outcome.
Yeah.
Maybe. But Hail Marys, they're kind of a flip of the coin play. Bears fans would know.
Yes. Yes, we won.
Mhm.
Yes, we won.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Rivalry week last week in college was interesting. It seemed like Michigan, Ohio State set the tone with the post game fight. I'm not gonna say who caused the fight in that, but I'm just saying there was a post game fight, and it's like every game after that, except for the Indiana Purdue game, there was a fight post game. It's pretty crazy.
It lived up to rivalry. We could tell you that much.
Yeah. Um,
Now if you're Notre Dame, you're punching people in the face mid game. I mean,
and not getting
just
called for.
saying, and not getting called for it either, which is kind of sus.
which is funny. I can't stand USC, but we'll talk about USC as well a little bit later on in this program tonight. Going to talk about Lincoln Riley and maybe his future with. I'm just going to go what I have in order. We should have talked about.
We're doing it live.
We're going to do it live. We're just going to go down the list. So, Dreyer and Reinbold Racing, they announced this week a 2-car lineup with Cusick Motors. A 2-car lineup for the 109th Indianapolis 500. They're going to have Jack Harvey and Ryan Hunter-Ray for their driver lineup, which I think is a pretty solid lineup, especially with Hunter-Ray. Glad to see that he's back with Dreyer and Reinbold once again for another year. Hopefully they continue to build speed and get better as a team. One thing that I'm looking forward to is there's a rumor. It's been rumored for about a decade now, but there's a rumor where they actually might be coming back full-time as early as 2027.
Ooh.
And I read this. I don't know how true it is, but apparently IndyCar is going to get a new chassis for 2027. So not sure how that's going to look with the hybrid stuff. Could that potentially introduce a new manufacturer? Does this mean, IndyCar is going to kind of lay off with all the rules and regulations and kind of let the teams be a little more innovative with this next chassis? I'm curious to see if that is a thing, how that is going to work in the coming Indianapolis 500s, because that's going to be right after the 110th running, so we'll have that car for the 111th running of the Indianapolis 500. Because 2026 is going to be the 110th. Or I'm sorry, 2015. Or 20... I'm sorry. No, 2026 is going to be the 110th. So the 111th Indianapolis 500. That's where we're going to have the new chassis potentially. Sorry. I'll get there eventually. So that would be interesting if they get a new chassis. So, Stingray Ropp signs with Juncos Hollinger Racing. According to team principal O'Neill, it was a push for stability, according to the team. So they've kind of shaken up their lineups over the last couple of seasons. So it's good to see that they're kind of going with the younger driver. I know some people don't like Stingray Robb. Some people do. I thought it was cool seeing a Voigt car out front. I didn't care that it was a 41 out front for the Indy 500 there for a few laps this year. But good to see that he's going to be staying in the sport and has a ride.
Yeah.
Going to be
good to see Ryan.
To see how he's
good to see. I was going to say good to see Ryan Hunter-Ray back. That's my main takeaway from the whole thing.
Yeah, true. I'm just curious to see who they would announce as their driver. Probably not Ryan Hunter-Ray. I would imagine if they're going to do at least one full-time entry, they're probably going to do another entry or two for the Indy 500. They've always kind of done that to where I remember in the old days, when I say old days, I mean like, I'm getting old. 2011, before they went to the new car, in the early 2010s, late mid 2000s, they had at least 2, maybe 3 cars full time, but they would always have another entry or 2 for the Indy 500. Seeing teams that had maybe 1 or 2 cars field an extra entry for the 500. And it's cool that they do it today, but obviously it's under different circumstances with the engine restrictions, that kind of thing. Hopefully, with maybe a new chassis, we get another manufacturer. Maybe see Ford come back into the fold, or Toyota, or something like that.
I know this wasn't on our list for tonight, but speaking of Toyota, since you brought Toyota up, they're leaving NHRA.
They're leaving the NHRA. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, they're leaving the NHRA, and rumor has it they might be going back to F1. IndyCar has been speculated. But it's going to be kind of sad to see them go. But, I mean, I don't blame them. Like, drag racing doesn't really fit their business model, so it doesn't make sense for them to be there.
I think I heard this week it was resources allocation is the reason why they're going.
Well, it does take big money to field an NHRA team. I know it takes a lot of money to field NASCAR, but not nearly as much as I would think, because they have a lot of guys between all the divisions in the NHRA, and that's going to affect a lot of teams. That's going to affect the one that comes to mind for me is Antron Brown.
Yeah,
because he's really good, and he's a Toyota team through and through. So it'll be interesting to see how that's going to affect his cause. here in the next couple of seasons if they get a new manufacturer. Is it going to remain open? Those kind of things always come to your mind. So, F1 news a little bit here. Cadillac F1 team announces their first driver, Daniel Ricciardo.
Good to see Danny Rick back in the grid.
I've never seen Danny Ricciardo race. I've only been getting into Formula One here in the last couple of years. So, well, let me rephrase that. I've seen him in the field. I've never seen him run up front. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of foundational is going to be for the new F1 team there for Cadillac. Rumor has it, and it's been rumored for 5 years now, that Colton Herta is going to go to Formula One, and he's going to drive that second F1 car. Because, Pato O'Ward's now a reserve driver for McLaren, so it can't be Pato O'Ward to drive for Cadillac.
No.
So that'll be interesting to see. F1 season finale preview. It's Sunday. I'm going to let you talk about it because I know nothing.
Well, they're doing their season finale in I can never say it. Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi. Thank you very much. I can never say that. So pardon my English, folks. But yeah, the season finale is Sunday morning. Yeah, I think it's ESPN, I believe. So that's going on this weekend. Max Verstappen will be officially celebrated as champion, even though they celebrated him as champion a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas. But they'll have enough second celebration per se, I would assume, on Sunday.
Official celebration,
yes. News today with Max Verstappen, him and his girlfriend Kelly Piquet are expecting a baby together. So congratulations to those two.
Tie the knot, Max. Just do it.
At this point, you might want to tie the knot.
Anyways,
and we got some big storylines though for Sunday. Lewis Hamilton, last race with Mercedes. Yep, Carlos Sainz, last race with Ferrari. Esteban Ocon, last race with Alpine. Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg leaving Haas. So a lot of guys leaving.
Haas cleaning the house on that one. So that's going to be interesting who their new drivers are going to be moving forward. Who was that kid that took over for Leclerc? Or was it Carlos Sainz earlier in the year? Some 18-year-old.
Ollie Behrman, I believe.
Isn't he rumored to take over one of the Haas cars?
He is, yes.
Okay, so that'd be interesting to see if that actually goes through. But we do have some news in the IMSA world come through. Andy Lally, he's going to be racing his final race in IMSA. He's going to be running in the 24 Hours of Daytona this year. Going to be his final race, and then he's going to be the president of Trans Am after Daytona.
Oh, wow.
So good to see a former driver get kind of acclimated as a president of a series. Going to be good to see him take that over, and the series will be in good hands, I think, moving forward. So
he was always good when FS1 had him for the trucks broadcast on the road course.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been a good commentator, driver. I mean, even when he's had the right equipment. I know in the Xfinity races he would run pretty well. So, but when he did have his little stint in NASCAR with the Racers Group, that was a one-car team struggling.
Yeah,
switch manufacturers a couple times, and just never really worked out for him in NASCAR. But those road courses, whenever he would do those one-offs, were pretty good for him. He ran really well. But, yeah, good to see that he's going to be running the Trans Am series. That'll be exciting. Genesis, aka Hyundai, announced their V8 engine plan for the LMDH for 2026 with a contender team. Ganassi is not fielding a team for 2025 in any capacity, so rumor links are to Chip Ganassi Racing. So
really?
If that is true, they've got a really, really, really solid team there at Ganassi. They will be very, very competitive come 2026 for the Daytona 24. So I'm excited to see that happen. I heard also Aston Martin might be teaming with Ganassi. Who knows? But the main thing that I've heard is likely Hyundai.
So before you move on to the next point, is Cadillac only having the one team then with Action Express, or are they getting another team since Ganassi's gone?
I think Wayne Taylor's actually switching back to Cadillac.
Ooh, from Acura?
From Acura, yeah. I think they're switching back to the Cadillac.
Okay.
Because I think that was all kind of part of the Andretti Global thing, since they're going to Cadillac in F1. They're running Chevrolet. They are part owner in Spire.
Yes.
because part owner Aspire is part owner in Andretti Global now, so
Hmm.
likely going to be because it's the Gainbridge guy. He
Yes.
runs Gainbridge. So they're running Chevrolet and NASCAR. I think they're gonna probably maybe run Chevrolet and IndyCar, maybe not. I don't know. But looks like they're gonna be going GM across the board.
Okay.
So would just make sense to me. What news I was really happy to see this year, last week or earlier this week. Robert Wickens will be driving a Corvette Z06 GT3. I can't remember for which team, so I'm sorry. You're gonna have to look it up. But for all the Sprint IMSA events in 2025,
Nice.
I'm
Good for Robert.
hoping that turns into, because that's a full time for the sprints. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that turns into full time period as early as 2026 for him. It'd be interesting to see him run like the Daytona 24, the 12 hours of Sebring, the 6 hours of Indianapolis, or the Watkins Glen race. You know, just seeing him maybe run some longer events. He has ran in an endurance race before. He ran for Brian Herta the last few years and drove in the 4 hour race there in Indy the last couple of years, and he's won at least one of them, if not both of them. So,
I mean, what a story that is. What a rebound story for him in his career.
yeah,
Since
yeah,
that,
especially if he could kind of have that full circle moment and running the 24 here in a couple years. I think that'd be really cool to see. I like those feel good stories, so it'd be good for him. Aston Martin announces WEC plans. I call it WEC. I know it's WEC. Sorry. Their plans for the WEC series. They will not run the Rolex 24 in 2025. That is what I saw. Now, they did do some testing at Daytona here a couple of weeks ago. It was a pretty cool sounding car ripping through the road course and on the high banks at Daytona, but they will not be racing at Daytona in 2025.
probably
and
be a
it's for
2026 thing then.
Probably a
for them?
2026 or 2027 thing. So it'd be cool
Okay.
to see Aston Martin into the fold at him. So that'd be interesting. So let's start with now we're here with more NASCAR news. It's just wonderful.
And it's just gonna keep going, folks. Gonna keep on trucking.
We just love it. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with some positive news. Blaine Perkins will be driving the 31 next year in the Xfinity Series for Jordan Anderson Racing. That is good, I guess. I think it's kind of a downgrade from Parker Retzlaff, but
Give him a shot.
Money
Give him a
talks. Going to be interesting that, and then of course Jeb Burton's back for his third consecutive season. He seems to fit that team really well there. They have an alliance with RCR, and he's run pretty good. I think he won with them a couple years ago at Talladega.
He did.
Got Jordan Anderson his first win as a car owner, so it'd be cool to see him in that car again. I'm not sure. Jury's out on Blaine Perkins for me. He hasn't really run good in trucks. He hasn't really run good in Xfinity with SS Greenlight. So maybe with a slightly better car, maybe he'll do better. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes for him.
Jeb was on track this afternoon. He seemed very excited about 2025. So good to see for Jeb.
I heard that the 32, that was the third car that Jordan Anderson has run the last couple of years, that they're going to be bringing that back next year with a variety of drivers. So guys like Austin Green, Jordan Anderson might even run himself a couple of races. I even heard Parker Retzlaff, if he can't find anything full-time, that he might come back and run part-time with them. So it'd be interesting to see how all that comes into the fold for that team. I did like it when they ran the third car. I mean, heck, I thought there were times the third car was outrunning the other two at times last year, especially with Austin Green at the road courses and some of the short tracks. He was putting that car up in the running order where you normally wouldn't see the two full-time guys. He's been really impressive. Austin Green is the son of former Busch champ and current NASCAR official Mark Green.
Okay.
So, and of course, Mark Green is older brother to Jeff Green and David Green.
Mm-hmm.
That drove in the Busch Series, and of course, Jeff drove in the Cup Series for a lot of years with Haas and Petty and RCR, and and a few other smaller start and park teams. So
Just remind he's a Busch Series champion though.
he is a Busch Series champion with PPC Racing with
The good old
Greg
Nesquik.
Yep, the old Nesquik car won it with Greg Pollux. That was the father of Sherry Pollux, who we lost to cancer a few years ago. So that team was pretty good. Well, not pretty good, really good. And then as things got a little more engineer driven and competitive in the mid 2000s, they kind of fell off and then sold their operation to Braun Racing. Kind of a sad deal, but racing.
They had another shot to win a Busch title in 03, but Scott Riggs got wrecked out in that last race that year.
Yeah. They got. I think that kind of changed the course for that team, honestly. Now that didn't work out at the end of the 03 season, but that's a whole YouTube video and series I could do. Maybe we should put our knowledge to the test, Mike. Maybe we should start doing some YouTube videos like all these other people do about
maybe
NASCAR
we should.
stuff. Maybe we should do that. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if people decide to do that. To our 2 viewers, thank you so much for. Before we move any further,
You do the ad read.
sped through the first 20 minutes. Not prepared as you. Well, we do have an ad.
We do have an ad.
Wrote it down this time. Got it right here. W Energy is a brand of energy drinks designed to be clean, flavorful, and focused on energy. Use code AS15TV for your 10% off order code. Go to w.gg to place your order today. Again, that is AS15TV. 10% off. I've had it. It's great. I actually used some earlier this week because I needed a little pick-me-up. And I can tell you it's great. I don't get a crash from it. It's very clean. They actually use extract from coffee beans to make their powder supplement. It's really good. You don't taste the coffee, so don't worry, folks. You just use the extract out of it to make the caffeine. And caffeine in it, I tell you. But it is good stuff. NASCAR news. Now we're going to get to the good stuff here. Due to the lawsuit with Front Row Motorsports and 2311, there is rumors that they will not be in the NASCAR 25 video game that is presented by iRacing.
Ooh.
NASCAR, just put them. Don't be. People have been waiting for a solid console game for a decade. Put them in the game. Don't be petty. Put them in the game. You put other open teams in the game. Why can't you put them in the game? Put them in the game.
Well, didn't NASCAR put out a file for motion with withdrawal this week too?
They did. They did put a motion to withdraw the lawsuit between 2311 and FRM. If that happens, I don't know where we go from here.
They're going to be racing as open teams because NASCAR said
where those charters are by them. No, I don't think so. But NASCAR did say they are prepared to just run 30 or 32 charters, whatever it is, for the next season. And FRM was supposed to have another charter.
Yep.
A third charter. And then 2311 was supposed to have 3. There's only 30. There are only 32 charter teams, so one was going to race as an open team anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be the third 2311 car.
With Riley Herbst, yeah.
Probably.
That's what I was thinking.
Because I think Front Row was going to get that charter, and then Roush got one. I think maybe not. I don't know. I think they're working out some kind of deal with Rick Ware. I think potentially of getting that charter, or maybe they're getting one of the Haas charters. I'm not sure. And then of course confirmed one of the other Haas charters did go to Trackhouse. I get it. It was a shady thing. They want to make sure that NASCAR is not a monopoly. It's obvious that they are. We all know this, but at the same time, all the teams did sign the deal, and it's a shame that a mid-tier team, and I can't, because they run pretty good. A team like Front Row Motorsports has to be the scapegoat. It's unfortunate. It shouldn't have been him.
I kind of figured 2311 was going to
He
be
should
that
have
team.
signed the deal. Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan should have been the rebels of the sport and been going on that hill and dying on that. It shouldn't have been Bob Jenkins, because Bob Jenkins don't have a whole lot of money outside of his businesses and NASCAR teams, and
Nope.
I don't know if they would be able to sustain more than a year of, running as an open team. It'd be interesting.
It would be very interesting.
But I did hear a new playoff format could be introduced as early as 2025. I doubt it, though. 2026. They do it. Maybe even 2027.
Well, supposedly Larson leaked something out on an interview or something. He leaked something out this week. Larson did.
That's where I got this from, was that Larson interview. So I don't know. What's your thoughts, Mike? Tell me.
I mean, honestly, it'd be nice if they would change it for 2025, but it's probably most likely would be 26 or 27. I personally just want to see, 10 to 12 drivers in a 10-man race for the playoffs. Best guy wins. That's at this point, because the elimination format, yes, it is exciting, but after the last couple years, it's just a crapshoot, and people manipulate races, and it's just like it's not
manipulate crap out of these races.
It's not worth it anymore, in my opinion. I mean, I think it's at the point now where it's ran its course, and it's like we need to do something else.
That's the junior approach. I agree. I think it has run its course, and unfortunately, I think they need to do something else. Whether they go back to the old-fashioned 10-race chase or make it a season-long points championship. That's where I'm at.
I mean,
or you modify the chase to where if you win the regular season championship, you're automatically in.
Yeah, that could be done too. I just remember seeing here the last couple of weeks, even since the Phoenix race, there has been so much backlash online to NASCAR from fans. It's been, I mean, it's tripled.
And people think it's all because of Logano, and honestly, I can't really say it's all because of Joey. I think it really stemmed from the Roval race, where he wasn't supposed to make it. Bowman failed tech. Logano gets in. He wins the next week to the championship 4. I think it all kind of stemmed from that, but I think what really made the most of the fans mad and what was the final straw was Martinsville. It was very clear that the 1 and the 3 were way faster than the 24 at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And they elected to just be a blockade.
Yeah.
For the 20.
And then the 23 was like, oh, I got a tire going down, and plummeted to let Seabell by, too.
And then Seabell wall rode. If he didn't wall ride,
he would have made it. Yeah.
Because he would have had the better finish.
All he had to do was get off the wall. Get off the wall. You should have learned this 2 years ago. It's outlawed. Just get off the wall.
Or if you do hit the wall, don't
floor it.
Don't hit the throttle. Don't hit the throttle. Just stay up there till you get to the straightaway, get off the wall, then floor it.
Floor it.
Would be fine. Would be fine. But it didn't happen that way. And of course, Byron was able to get the championship 4. And he didn't do crap at the championship 4 anyway.
No, he was the third best.
That's what I don't understand about that 2014. To me, they're frauds. Said it. There, said it.
Well, Hendrick has had a major issue with that next gen car Phoenix ever since they changed over to that thing.
That they don't even show up for the playoffs.
No, that's true too.
They're so good the first 15 to 18 races, and then they go bye-bye. Where the hell did you go?
It seems like once they get past the summer July, once they get past July,
street race, it seems.
Yeah,
that's kind of the new halfway point of the season. And we don't go to Chicago and speed it. We won't do a street race. That's a whole nother YouTube video for another time. But since they go there now, that's the halfway point. They just go to crap. They do every time.
Yeah,
every time.
You're not wrong.
I mean, the 9 car doesn't run good. Apparently, he doesn't know what the racing surface is. Clearly, doesn't know.
Yeah, don't get me started about that thing at Indianapolis.
The white line is pretty darn clear, Chase. I'm just saying. You went above the white line, and they got a couple other drivers doing the same crap too. So
But I mean, at least he gave us a good radioactive
I
moment.
mean, I sat basically in the same place for the Brickyard this year as I did for the Indy 500, and I'm trying to, and I was recalling the time for the Indy 500. They weren't even going above that line. They were like right through the middle.
Yeah.
They didn't go above nothing. They just, why can't you?
Supposedly in 2020 they did that. I'd have to go back and look at it,
I'd
but
have to go back and look at it. I think it's a bunch of crap. I think it's a bunch of crap.
very well could be. Very well could be.
But anyways, that's a tangent for another time. Who is wanting to talk about this dumb NASCAR? Oh, that's you.
That's me. There's some news that came out this week from Jeff Gluck. NASCAR on Netflix season 2. There's rumored it won't come out till 2025 in April, but that's still to be determined. Netflix hasn't really fully said yes or no to that, but that is news this week that it's rumored that it's going to get pushed back to April. A lot of
January this year for the last season.
Yep, and that's why people are like, "Why would you put it in April?" That'd be
Well, didn't they kind of like improve from season 1 to season 2? Don't they have like more drivers in that show?
They do, yes.
I'm trying to give them a benefit of a doubt because if it's a lot more people, editing,
I think it's a lot more people this year.
so they probably had to do more editing, which they didn't hit their deadline, and so instead of it coming out in January, because they probably had to be done with all the crap by this week, didn't get it done, so it might be one of those things where, you know.
But we'll see.
Happen.
We'll see. What Netflix still has to confirm it, so
I think it'd be ideal maybe if they had it in February, maybe like the week of the Clash or something. It comes out.
Well, you think about it for 24 this year, the first season that it came out right before the season started, and the ratings for the first couple weeks were I mean, Daytona 500 ratings themselves are the 500 people watch. Yeah. But you think about the Clash and then Atlanta and a couple of races, it could help with the Netflix show just a little bit, maybe just a little.
I've made my peace about the Clash. They need to stop going to these little quarter-mile short tracks and go back to Daytona. But nobody likes that idea either. So here we are.
Here we are. Yep.
It is still the Crash, and I don't like the format for the Clash either. We'll talk about that as we get closer to it. I don't think they should be handing out participation trophies, aka I don't think all the charter teams should be eligible to run and race.
Just saying.
Oh, sorry, not sorry. I miss the draw. Out of the beer bottles.
Yes, that was good. Back on the day on Speed.
I told a joke. Our friend Mike.
Mm-hmm.
They had those signs, those posters in the mid-2000s where it said, you put your head in it, and it's and above the caption it read, "Hey Mom, I'm on speed."
Yes.
And that was when I figured out that speed was also a drug. I'll let you fill in the rest of that, folks, for...
That's like, what? Oh my goodness.
I'll let you, the blondness kicked in there, Mike. Thanks.
Yeah, it did. It did.
I'll let you think about that for a minute, and it finally kicked in. Perfect. All right.
Yeah, it did.
So, moving on. College football news. Of course, this week is, championship week. We'll talk about our predictions and matchups and all that here in a little bit. I might be going to one of the games. We'll see. I might be going to the Big Ten championship game tomorrow. So, might be a thing. We'll see. We're waiting to see if we can get tickets. Ticketmaster's been kind of wonky the last couple of days. Where we're trying to get these tickets. They're like $25 to sit with Jesus, and every time we try to go and purchase, it doesn't go through.
Oh.
So it's like the tickets are not verified or something. I don't know. So we're going to figure it out tomorrow. I'm going to let my roommates figure it out. It's my birthday weekend. I'm going out tomorrow to see family and whatnot.
I got a Friendsgiving I'm going to tomorrow, so I'm going out tomorrow as well.
So we'll figure that out. But Mac Brown was fired at UNC, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Interestingly enough, even though he has no NCAA experience, Bill Belichick has been interviewed for the job. His father, Steve Belichick, was actually a coach at the Naval Academy for several years, back in the 60s, I think, 50s and 60s.
Isn't his son on the defensive staff at Washington?
Yes, his son Steve is the defensive coordinator actually in Washington Big Ten. So could be interesting to see Bill come in and run the UNC program. Would be interesting. I don't think that's the best job that he could get. I mean, UNC
I think
is a
Matt
bad program.
I think Mac did a good job for at least the first couple years because they were highly ranked for the first couple years when he was there.
Yeah, I think it was just one of those things where Mac Brown is a dinosaur and the game has kind of passed him by, and you're kind of going for another coach that's kind of the same way. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But Bill Belichick's been all over the news anyway.
I know you didn't put this on your list, but I wanted to tell you real quick and tell our viewers that West Virginia, they fired their coach this week and they're going to be an open spot at West Virginia.
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe they should hire Pat McAfee.
Who knows? Maybe. Or hire Nick Saban, as Pat says.
No,
They ain't doing
I
that.
think Nick Saban's gonna stay at ESPN.
Yes. I think
And
Nick's
I think
done with
Pat
all
is gonna
the.
stay at ESPN too. By the way, folks, I was just.
He's joking, folks.
Ryan Day, championship or fired?
Fire
That's what I
him.
heard. That's what I heard this. If
He
he
should be
doesn't
fired.
if he loses the home game in the first round of the college football playoff, which is very losable, he gonna get fired.
I think he should be fired regardless. I don't care if they make a deep playoff run or not. Fire him. He lost. What is this? 4 years in a row losing to Michigan. Sorry, fire. Got to fire.
Yeah, I think it's time. It's kind of proven that his teams are mentally weak. They're unstable. They don't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to situational football.
And they listen to way too much outside noise because you think I'm the leader.
Yeah,
of
they
men.
listen to Lou Holtz way too much.
Just remember, Ryan Day, he's a leader of men.
Where's Lou Holtz? This is
He's
a tough
retired.
team. It's Ohio against the world. Sorry, had to do it. Mike Vrabel, potential replacement for Ryan Day. Also heard Brian Hartline,
Who?
potential replacement for Ryan Day. He was offense coordinator, and Chip Kelly came into the fold, and so he got demoted back to wide receivers coach. Former NFL wide receiver, played for the Dolphins, the Browns for many years. Actually, the go-to guy for Ryan Tannehill in Ryan's rookie year on the Dolphins. So, pretty solid receiver.
Okay.
He was tall and he was tall and white and not very fast. That's why he didn't have a very long NFL career. But it was pretty productive when he did play. Gus Malzahn left UCF to take over the job of the offensive coordinator at Florida State. Personally, I think Gus Malzahn's a little overrated. His offenses are very predictable, reliance on the running game, and he's.
Well, I mean, anything can be better for Florida State next year versus god awful this year.
Can't say you're wrong there. They did go 2-10, so can't be any worse.
Hey, I'm just glad they did not fire Mike Norvell. I don't think he should have been fired. I honestly thought that was probably going to happen, but I'm kind of glad that they didn't do that. I don't think this is on him.
I think what they did with Norvell was they gave him the ultimatum of you fire your entire assistant coaching staff or you're fired. And so I think that's kind of what happened. He fired the entire offensive staff because that offense was not very good. The defense wasn't very good either, but I think it was because that offense was so bad, a lot of 3 and outs, and the defense was on the field basically the whole game. So,
and we're going to have to see here over the next couple of years if they can rally back from being, screwed out of the playoffs. Because if they don't rally over the next couple of years, we're going to look at that as a turning point for that program.
Yeah, for sure. Lincoln Riley might leave University of Southern California. Almost said University of South Carolina, the real USC.
Oh, Mr. Overrated? Yeah.
Overrated. He apparently has mutual interest with the University of Central Florida to take the head coaching job.
Go ahead. See ya.
Lincoln, why do you always leave when the going gets tough? What does that say about you? You're Brian
Not
Day
very
light.
tough. Uh
Brian
huh.
Day light. Okay.
Yep.
Because at least Brian Day stays at his current job.
I
You will have
still
left twice. Good jobs. Good jobs. You've left twice because you can't coach defense.
I'm still like pissed. I'm not pissed, but like I just still can't believe he left Oklahoma in the way he did because it's like, bud, that was a good job for you, and you just like, see, I'm done.
He didn't want to be in the SEC, and I think he knew that his offenses wouldn't have lasted in the SEC, and neither would his defenses. Because look what he did in the Big Ten this year with the University of Southern California. They went 6-6.
Yep.
And Notre Dame whooped that butt when they played USC. Just saying, it was like playing a high school team.
It took them to the second half before they started whooping them because that first half was.
They still whooped them. Anyways, because see, here's the thing: USC, they're really good in the first half because they have all those scripted plays, and then once they get off their scripted plays, they're terrible. It's kind of like Michigan State was this year. That's how Michigan State got to that 10-0 lead against IU. They had really good about 20 plays, and then you could tell once they left the 20 plays, wheels fall off, literally and figuratively, or for Michigan. But we do have championship weekend. Big Ten title game I mentioned is tomorrow. It is Penn State versus Oregon. Who you got?
Going with the Oregon Ducks.
Okay.
Going with the Oregon Ducks.
I figured you would.
What about you? What are you going with?
I can't pick Tom Allen, so I gotta go Oregon Ducks. I'm sorry. But the Big 12 championship game, we have got
Iowa State and Arizona State there, bud.
Iowa State, Arizona State. Whoever wins, they're getting their first round bye because top 4 get the bye playoffs. So they're playing for a bye week.
I'm gonna go. My pick for that, I'm gonna go Arizona State. First year head coach. I think he's turned that program around out there. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Iowa State's been a little bit more of a grind job. Not so fast, my friend. I'm going to go Iowa State.
Okay.
I think that game's going to be really good. I don't know what the spread is, but I think that's going to be
let me see if I can look.
A really competitive football game.
I'll tell you right now what the spread is. It is ASU minus 1.5. It's a spread.
It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. Because in the Big 12, you don't really play defense as much.
No.
Which maybe that's why Lincoln Riley wants to go back to the Big 12. Anyways, ACC championship game, SMU versus Clemson at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Give me SMU.
SMU.
Yeah. I like Clemson, but give me SMU.
I can never root for Clemson, and I do not like the head coach.
You don't like
do not like him. No, never have.
Yeah, he's kind of annoying.
He's too cocky for me. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you there. He's a little cocky. At first, he was able to back it up, but now he can't. So here we are. The SEC championship game, that is tomorrow at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It is Texas versus Georgia. I can't believe
go ahead.
Welcome. I just don't think Georgia is very beatable this year. And I think
Texas will learn from what they lost to Georgia earlier this year. This is a rematch game for them.
This is a rematch game. They're 10-2. Texas is 11-1. Their loss was Georgia. You're correct on that.
Hook 'em.
Give me Texas. Yes. And if Georgia loses this game,
they should be out, in my opinion.
They might be out of the playoff. I will say though, the SEC the last few weeks have been setting themselves on fire.
Yes, they have.
Fire as far as who should be in and out of that playoff.
Do you want to know the spread for that game?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Texas minus 2.5.
Yeah, go ahead and give me Texas on that one. I think Texas is gonna be able to pull that one out. And I hope Quinn Ewers plays his butt off and plays really well. Because I'm tired of people saying, yeah, put Arch Manning in. Arch Manning, Arch Manning, Arch Manning. Go screw yourselves. Put in Quinn Ewers. Let him play the rest of his time in Texas.
He's going to the draft anyway.
So he could go to the NFL draft, and then you can have all of Arch Manning. You can have as much as you want of him next year. Okay? All right? I'm a very big Manning fan, obviously. My quarterback growing up was Peyton Manning, for crying out loud. But just let Quinn Ewers play, okay? Just let him do his thing, and then he can leave. Okay, he can go home or go to the draft or do whatever he wants. He'll be a first-round pick anyway. Just let him be him, okay? Then you can have Arch Manning as much as you want next year, all right?
Yeah.
He's going to probably play lights out, win the Heisman. And then the Colts are probably going to tank for Arch, okay? That's what we need to do. The Colts need to tank for Arch. You heard it here.
And you're going to trade for Marvin Harrison Jr.
And we need
in a
to
couple
trade
years?
for Marvin Harrison Jr. You're darn right we do. Yes, trade Michael Pittman for Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay, and then we can have Manning to Harrison again, all right?
Before we move on to the Army-Navy game predictions, just an update as to our people watching at home as it's 9:49 Central Time on a Friday night. Army is on their way to winning the American Athletic Conference Championship. They are up 34-7 over Tulane right now. And Boise State is on their way to win the Mountain West Championship, up 21-0 in the fourth quarter. Just a little update on a Friday night game.
They only have one good player, and it's their running back.
He might win the Heisman, and they're gonna get a playoff spot.
Very deservingly should be in the playoff, but I don't think they should be top 4.
I agree.
People want to talk about IU hadn't played nobody. Look at Boise State. Who they play?
Their only loss is to Oregon.
Okay. Who did Boise State play? They played nobody.
Nobody.
Other than Oregon. They didn't play nobody. So
no.
Stop with this IU didn't play anybody. All right. You want to talk about IU not playing anybody? Look at Boise State, all right? But say who you play on your schedule. Oh, yeah. We've tried saying that this year for IU fans. Man, but you guys locked into all your wins. Paul Feinbaum. Why don't you go retire? Stop sucking off the SEC like you have for your entire career. Anyways, you won't get me fired up. That's one way to do it. Talk about the SEC and talk about Paul Feinbaum. Talk about IU and how they luck into everything.
You want to pick Army Navy because that is the only college football game next weekend. Army Navy.
I think if I go Navy, I'm going to get shot. So I'm going to get shot down by the Army. So give me Army.
I'm gonna go Army as well.
Army's got a really good team this year. They're going to make college football playoff for sure. And if they don't, that's a shame because they should. I think they're just as good as Boise State. So I think you should put them in. I like their offense. That triple option's always hard to stop, but they've developed a little bit of a play-action passing game off of that run game this year, which has made them very difficult to defend, almost impossible to defend.
Well, Army's only loss is to Notre Dame there, bud. So
are you sure they played Army?
Yes, I'm sure. Don't make me. I know I made the mistake about Navy the one time. Okay. Yes, I know.
You hear that, Joe? You hear that?
I had a lot going on that weekend. Gosh darn it. But yes.
Anyways, I think it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So there are 1 million people rumored to get the Chicago Bears job. Who do you want me to start with?
I guess start with Marcus Freeman because
Marcus Freeman to the Bears. Rumors he could lead Notre Dame and take the NFL job. Mike Vrabel could coach 2 teams at once. Bill Belichick could coach 2 teams at once. And John Gruden is going to be uncanceled and get back into the NFL.
And Ben Johnson is now the leading odds getter for the Bears job as of today, I saw.
If he wins the Super Bowl, if the Lions win the Super Bowl, he goes. If they don't, he stays.
I will say this on the Marcus Freeman point. No, I do not want him on the Bears. I'd rather keep him at Notre Dame, keep building the culture, keep building Notre Dame football. Because right now he's got a team.
Do you know why he's rumored to get the Bears job?
Why is that?
Who's the president of the Bears?
Kevin Warren.
Him and so like best buds. They played college football together.
I mean, I get it. And then there's also a thing that out this week that Jim Harbaugh wanted the Bears head coaching job, and Kevin Warren said, "See ya. Nope. No thanks."
I guess they just didn't want to deal with the Michigan man that cheated.
But I mean, you see what he's doing with the Chargers. I mean,
He wanted to go to the Raiders too, and Mark Davis said, "Nah, I'm good." So now they whooping your butt twice a year, and they go keep whooping your butt.
Yep.
Like,
But I mean,
hire Jim Harbaugh.
The Bears
He could have made Aiden O'Connell something. But to Harbaugh's fair point, though, when he got the Niners job back in 2011, he basically had to fix Alex Smith. When he got the Chargers job, he didn't really need to fix Justin Herbert. I mean, maybe his turnovers were a little bit of an issue, but didn't really need to fix Justin Herbert.
No.
You just need to fix a little bit of the offensive line, fix their cap issues, which they've done. They've gotten rid of Keenan Allen, they got rid of Mike Williams, they got rid of a lot of guys. And they built up the offensive line a little more, made that a little better, picked up 2 good running backs, worked on the defense a little bit. Next year, I think they're going to work on receiver in the draft. Maybe get themselves a stud in free agency. We'll kind of have to see what their cap situation's looking like, but I think out of the 3 teams that he was interested in, Chargers was the best job.
Yeah, I could see it being the best job, but his connections to the Bears could have really helped the Bears.
He played for the Chargers too. Next.
Well, you just think about, what he did with the Chargers. He could have easily done that with the Bears, fixed the offensive line, helped the defense out a little bit.
Would Caleb Williams be a Bear?
I think so. I still think so. Or that maybe Jaden Daniels went there. Who knows?
Or
do not say Jay. For a moment there, I thought you were going to say he was going to draft JJ McCarthy, and I'm like, don't even go there.
He was going to draft JJ McCarthy.
Don't even go there.
He gonna tear his meniscus too, just like never. I'm sorry, that's what happens at 11 o'clock at night. I start to say things.
He's about as bad as my leg.
My leg, yeah. So, Marcus Freeman needs to stay with the Bears. What do you think of Rabel?
You mean stay with Notre Dame instead of the Bears?
Yeah, Freeman needs.
Vrabel,
fighting Catholics.
Fighting Catholics versus convicts, bud.
All right, so Vrabel.
I think he would work.
Belichick.
I think he would work too. He's got Super Bowl experience, and I know that's one thing our good friend Joe Hutchings would want for
what
Bears
about
leader.
John Gruden?
I don't know. I think John's enjoying his
grinders.
Gruden's enjoying his time at Barstool because he's been on the ball new Barstool stuff now.
Barstool, Smarstool. If the Chicago Bears are calling your name to be the head coach, I think you take it.
Who would you want to say out of all the candidates?
I'd say Vrabel. I'd say Vrabel will be my number 1. And say I can't get Vrabel because he goes to Ohio State. It's gonna probably piss a lot of people off. John Gruden. I think, look, the offensive weapons there are really good.
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Swift. You got 2 good receivers on the outside. You've got Cole Kmet there at tight end. If there's anybody that I think can fix the troubles of that offensive line, it's John Gruden. When he first got the Oakland job, I'm talking like his second time there, not his first time there. His second time there when he got the Oakland job, what was really bad?
Offensive line.
What did he fix?
Offensive line.
And got Derek Carr to play better.
Yeah, he did.
So I think him working with Caleb Williams, he's athletic as heck. He is pretty smart because if you look at it, they've already given him the opportunity to change plays anyway. He's been doing it all year. He's put the Bears in really good spots at times. He's really smart, knows what he's doing. It's just I think sometimes he tries to overdo it, which I think that happens with a lot of rookie quarterbacks, but particularly with a quarterback of his caliber. I think they've given him too much too early, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either.
Well, you think about it too. The defense let him down in Washington, and the kicker let him down in Green Bay, and the kicker let him down in Minnesota when and the defense let him down in overtime against Minnesota too. So
And defense let him down. Well, no. Well, yeah. No, the defense let him down against Detroit.
but I mean,
Detroit got the game-winning touchdown. So
yeah, but the Bears were getting blown out at halftime, and he fought them all the way back to at least almost a chance to tie the game late. But we all know what happened with Matt Eberflus just sitting on the sideline like, oh, there's a timeout? I didn't know that.
and here's the thing with Caleb Williams. I didn't like what he said post game. When he said maybe later on in my career I'll call a timeout.
Yeah, that's true.
You're the quarterback. I don't care if you're a rookie. I don't care you've been in the league 18 years like Peyton Manning. Call timeout. If you know that you're not going to be able to get back to the line and your last play is 6 seconds left by the time you call the audible and everybody gets that communicated on the offensive side of the ball, call timeout. Because then you need to make a shot play for the sideline and get your kicker in a spot for the game tying field goal.
What do all great quarterback veteran people do when a play clock's running down and they know they can't get the playoff? Turn around, timeout. Like they know it. They know the play clock. They know the situation in the game, and if they know they can't get this off or the communication's off.
And I like what Rex Ryan said, and even Bill Belichick. I think they're some of the best situational guys. Now, Rex Ryan didn't really get to implement this much because when he was the Jets and the Bills head coach. But Bill Belichick in particular, what did he always stress about in his time as an NFL head coach?
Clock management.
Well, not just clock management, but situational football. That's why I think he could be a pretty good fit in Chicago because they lack a lot of IQ when it comes to situational football. But
yeah,
it was one of those things where him and Rex Ryan basically said the same thing, where it's like, you have one timeout left, you have about 30 seconds. Do you want to take the timeout early or do you want to take the timeout late? And I think if Caleb didn't get sacked and he didn't change the play at the line of scrimmage, I still think you wouldn't call the timeout. I think you'd want to save that because they wanted to continue the drive a little bit to either one, try to win the game, or two, get a chip shot, easy field goal, go to overtime. I think that's legitimately what they were trying to accomplish. Of course, Eberflus is just gonna say, "Nah, we had it planned the whole time. We got this." What he should have said was, "Hey, look, this happened here. We should have called it. That's on me." I think if he would have owned up to it a little more instead of saying, "Nah, that was the plan the whole time," I think it would have gone over.
Yeah,
but he didn't own up to the situation, and he got himself fired for it.
He did.
But yeah, I think you either call the timeout early or call the timeout late. In that situation, you call it right when he gets sacked. You just call that timeout, have a shot play for the sideline, kick the field goal, get the hell out of there, do another coin flip for overtime, hopefully win the kickoff, hopefully win the coin toss, run the kickoff back for a touchdown, game over.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen.
No, it did not.
It is what it is. You have some NHL news.
I do.
Knock it off.
I do. The Bruins fired their head coach, Jim Montgomery, this past week. And the Bruins brought in Joe Sacco. He's one of the interesting names out there that was in the Bruins organization, brought him in. But also now the St. Louis Blues, they hired Jim Montgomery after the Bruins fired him. Jim Montgomery was a guy that helped the Bruins win the President's Trophy, which is like once you have the best record in the NHL, you get that trophy. for being the best regular season team in the NHL. So Jim Montgomery can coach, and St. Louis is in the middle of a rebuild. Them and the Hawks are in the same division, same rivals, both going through rebuilds. So Jim Montgomery is probably, for a rebuilding team, was probably the better option to do, if you ask me. But speaking of the Blackhawks, they fired Luke Richardson after two years of trying to start this rebuild, and with all the offseason moves that they made.
2 years of trying, 2 years of frustrations.
Yeah. And after all the offseason moves that the Hawks made to bring in a lot of veteran guys to make this team a little bit more tougher, yeah, hasn't really worked out that well. So Luke Richardson wasn't going to be the guy. He wasn't going to be the guy long term anyway. See you later. Bye-bye. But here's the thing about the Hawks. They've promoted their head coach at Rockford. The AHL team is going to take over as interim head coach for the rest of the season. And according to Emily Kaplan last night from ESPN, he's going to have a chance at the full-time job next season. So the rest of the next 4 months is a testing period for him. Yeah. So we'll see what he does. The Hawks are, a couple days ago, the Hawks are 6 points out of a wild card spot. So, I mean, there's still plenty to play for per se, but if they keep losing, then they ain't going to be much to play for. And we'll see what this guy does.
Keep losing, just keep losing. Get another draft pick.
The Hawks' future is all in their farm system right now. A lot of the good guys and a lot of guys in college hockey.
Well, screw it. Take them out of the farm system and start them.
If only it was that easy to do that. They don't want to rush guys.
Well, rush them. You're bad anyway. Might as well just be really bad.
Yeah. And then a couple big news as New York Rangers, as our own AJ Capola's favorite team, the New York Rangers. They traded their captain today, Jacob Trouba. He went to the Anaheim Ducks, I believe. Yes, he did. After having some locker room issues, and I guess he wasn't, as being a captain of a team.
Fight.
And you're causing locker room issues. Yeah, that's, if you're a captain, especially, like, lead the room, buddy. Like, lead the room to a professional level. So Rangers traded him, but the good news is for the Rangers too, their goalie Igor Shesterkin is now the richest NHL goalie right now going on. He had an 8-year contract extension at $11.5 million.
That's a lot of money.
So he's going to be the future for the New York Rangers, and the Rangers had Henrik Lundqvist for a long time as the leading man in the pipes for them. So this guy could be another Henrik Lundqvist, where he'll stay there for many years. But AJ did want to mention that Rangers have lost 6 of their last 7 games, but they did win tonight. So that's now 6 of 7 that they lost prior to tonight. So the Rangers, a team that was a President's Trophy team a couple years ago, in the tubes this year. At least start.
You're still in the Discord, right?
I am in the Discord. Yeah, there you go. He's playing the Ranger goal horn. There you go. AJ's going to like that.
I hope he heard it.
I hope he did too.
I hope it worked. Anyways.
We'll see. But that's it for the NHL news. There's some NBA news that came out this week to kind of wrap up our podcast this week. NBA, we got some young stars hurt there, man. Wemby in San Antonio out with a sore back the last couple games. Zion Williamson, not surprising, out again, left hamstring injury.
If he wasn't so damn fat and take Charles Barkley's advice, he wouldn't be hurt all the time. Next.
Chris Middleton is back for the Bucks after having off-season surgery on both ankles. So good to see Chris Middleton back for the Bucks. He's going to help their lineup with Giannis and Damian Lillard.
Just to get hurt again. Next.
Stephen Curry and Draymond Green are back from Golden State for this weekend after they are both coming off injuries themselves. So Golden State getting back to somewhat 100% out there. And continuing the injury bug that the NBA has been dealing with. Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Jamal Murray, Lonzo Ball, all currently dealing with injuries. So there's some big names all currently dealing with injuries.
Triple single. You don't know the reference, do you?
No, I do not know the reference.
Oh, I'm going to have to play that for you later.
And then, real quick note to kind of wrap everything up: the NBA Cup in-season tournament is into the knockout round, and we will probably update our viewers once we get closer to like the semifinals or the final matchup for that in-season tournament. Go fight, win!
Go fight, lose.
But I think that's it. That's all.
More gimmicks than NASCAR. I didn't think it was possible. The NBA, you've done it. Congratulations. Just play the game and don't be woke, and you won't go broke. And don't let everybody be on this FanDuel Sports Network to watch games.
That is true.
Put it on local television. No, it doesn't make. I don't care.
Well, their ratings or NBA's ratings are hitting the tube right now.
Yeah, because they put it all on this damn streaming stuff. Doing it for the money. They don't care about the fans.
Well, and the product outside of the playoffs, the product is god awful in the regular season. I'm sorry,
Well,
god
they don't
awful.
play defense.
Oh, the only time they play defense is postseason. That's it.
It's dumb. They can play defense all the time. Back when
Yeah.
players actually,
Tried.
about, Anyways.
And one thing that I didn't mention, that I didn't list, Major League Baseball, they are considering adding like a golden at bat rule. I heard some talk about this
Oh, I
week.
did read about that this week.
I'm sorry.
Don't make any changes.
Don't do it.
Not necessary.
What you have right now with the pitch clock and everything, baseball still feels like baseball. I mean, it is a little bit quicker, yes, which is good. We like that, but don't do any stupid changes that are like, oh, we're gonna do like a home run derby idea. Put that in a regular season game. Like, no, keep that for the home run derby. We don't need some special
Or the
golden
All-Star
at bat. I mean, the All-Star game. Do it for that. Why don't use this for regular season and postseason where you like, oh, I have Manny Machado coming up. Let me bring back Fernando Tatis Jr. He was the one that got the last out of last inning. Let me just use him for my golden at bat for this inning. So then I have Tatis and Machado 1-2. It's like, just don't ruin baseball, please. And if I could swear on this show, which I'm not going to, if you want to listen to an all-time rant about the golden rule, listen to Ty at the Toxic Table on Pat McAfee's show yesterday with Jeff Passan. I mean, dude absolutely torched baseball for that.
Thanks, AJ, for liking the stream. Appreciate you. But yeah. Gonna be interesting here in the next few months with all the sports going on. Oh, did you see the A's may not be moving to Vegas? Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
I'm
kind of. No, I did not hear about that.
So, according to what I read, I think it was earlier today, might have been yesterday. Forgot to write it down. That the stadium that the A's are proposing, is higher than what Vegas wants to pay for.
Oh boy!
So they may not be moving to Vegas. So they are no longer the Oakland A's; they are just the A's right now.
Well, because they're playing, I think they're supposedly for the next couple of years they're playing in some temporary stadium in California or something.
They are playing in a AAA stadium in Sacramento, California.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And you know what sucks about that stadium there in Sacramento, California?
What's that?
There is no shade at all.
Good luck.
Have fun.
Good luck on
Make
the
America
ones.
California. Because that's what the people want. They want America to be California.
And before we signed off for the podcast tonight, you'll enjoy this. Kentucky basketball, first loss of the season to Clemson. Mark Pope's first loss, and it wasn't really all his fault because I didn't catch a lot of the game on Tuesday night, but from what I heard, refs were not good. But you can't really blame the game all on the refs.
All right. So since you want to talk about Kentucky, we're going to talk about Indiana then.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
talk about some college hoops.
Since the butt kicking to Louisville and Gonzaga, IU has been on a rebound. But you know who they played? Nobody. They've played Providence, beat them 89-73. They played Sam Houston, won 97-71. And then they played Miami of Ohio tonight, where they won 76-57. They start conference play on Monday against Minnesota at IU. That's a 6:30 tip-off. Then on Friday the 13th, they go to Nebraska. But I have to say it. Do you know what happens?
They lose.
They lost to Penn.
Oh wow. Okay.
Number 8 Purdue loses to Penn State. I want to say that was at home too.
While you're looking that up, just looking this up myself. Kentucky's playing number 7 Gonzaga tomorrow night, so it could be loss number 2 on the season for Kentucky. And you want to hear the crazy thing?
Purdue was on the road.
Purdue's on the road.
Yeah,
that game tomorrow night with Kentucky and Gonzaga, 4 versus 7, is in Seattle. So advantage Bulldogs.
Yeah, because aren't they up in Washington?
Yep. So Mark Pope's got to lead the boys all the way to Seattle at a 9:00 start against a Gonzaga team that's 7-1.
Gonzaga's pretty good this year too. They whipped our tail a couple weeks ago.
I'm not expecting Kentucky to win that game tomorrow night at all. If they win it, well, that'd be great, but I'm not expecting that.
Yeah.
But hey, at least college hoops is, like you mentioned, we're starting to get into conference play here in the next couple of weeks. So we're starting to get into that good time of the season where we stop playing nobodies and start playing conference.
Woodson's going to get fired, I think, after this year.
Hopefully you make an NCAA tournament run.
Hopefully he doesn't, because I want him off the books. IU needs to get... So they've gotten their act together with football, I think. See how year 2 goes under Signetti. He's actually already talked about recruiting in his last press conference. They are signing 22 guys, not from the portal. So signing 22 high school kids. I think it was like 11 on offense and 9 or 10 on defense. I think it's like 21 or 22 kids they signed. So they're and like half of them are going to be early enrollees, so they're going to enroll for the spring semester. They'll be there all spring, and then the rest of them are going to be reporting during summer camp. So
okay.
Looking good for IU football. I'm curious to see how they're going to fill out the rest of the roster with the transfer portal. That's going to really come into play as guys declare to go to the draft. I think Kadick is going to go to the draft. He's a 5th-year senior. He's going to go. Curtis Work is probably going to go to the draft as well. People are thinking that they might need to get a quarterback. They've got a quarterback behind Taven Jackson. Might get another one, but I think Taven Jackson's going to be your starter next year for the IU football Hoosiers, who looked really good in his game against Washington. Best I had ever seen him play, and he played at Tennessee. He's played at IU. Didn't play worth the crap last year at IU. I think sitting him this year was a good and wise decision by Kurt Signetti and the bunch, just to let him learn the system and just chill. So he'll be playing next year. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how IU plans out the rest of their football off season. What about Notre Dame? Anything exciting in the Notre Dame football world? Any signings for recruits or anything from Marcus Freeman?
Not that I heard yet. No, nothing that's come through yet on the recruiting, as far as I know. But last time I looked, so.
Well, right on. Well, I just want to say a big shout out and thanks to AJ Capola for having us on his channel every week. Thank you for your support of this channel. I think everybody is liking the podcast so far. I haven't heard any complaints, so from the few people that do watch and listen. So thank you for your nice feedback. If there's anything that you would like us to expand upon more, I know we kind of just give headlines and then we have some discussion, some just running through everything. If you guys think we need to sit down and talk topic by topic a little more detail, let me know. We can definitely start doing that. I have no problem doing that. I know Mike doesn't have any issue with doing that.
No.
But a lot of things going on in the NASCAR world should be interesting here in the next few weeks. IMSA 2, college football, it's really ramping up. We got Selection Sunday this Sunday for the first ever 12-team playoffs. So that's going to be exciting. We'll talk about that next week in a little more detail.
And we can
Um,
probably talk a little bit about the bigger bowl games too, because I think that's coming out Sunday night too, like the official
so
bowl
what's
games.
going to happen is the first round, so 5 through 12, 5 through 8. Or no, sorry.
8 through 12.
No. 5 through 7.
Okay.
They're all hosting home games. 5 through 8.
5 through 8. Yeah.
They're all hosting home games, and then after that, then they'll get into bowl season because it's not going to be during bowl season of the first round, from my understanding.
Hold on. I saw something the other day that bowl games are going to be starting at the same time the college football playoffs going on. Give me 1 second here.
So the selection is Sunday, the 8th. They're going to be
Correct.
playing next week during the Army Navy game, is what I heard.
The first round?
Yes.
No.
Or it
only thing.
or it might be the weekend of the 20th, which is December 20th. That's a Friday. Sorry, you guys can see my count.
So yeah, bowl games are starting on the 17th of December, according to what I'm looking at here.
That's
and
none of the
then
big bowl games. So
I know.
yeah. So it'll
But
be,
yes, you are correct. It is the 20th and 21st.
yeah. So they'll be playing the bowl games the 20th, the first round, and then they'll have that week off for Christmas, obviously, and then New Year's Eve day. That's when they'll have like the quarterfinal of the playoffs, and then unless they decide to do the quarterfinals, the Friday after Christmas, the 27th, and then you'll have your semifinal New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Excuse me, and then the championship game the week after that.
But we'll get all that news on Sunday, and we can report
we'll see
it
how
back
that all
to
goes.
Yeah, we'll report it back to our viewers next Friday once we get all that news on Sunday, because I'm pretty sure Selection Sunday will give us all that news.
Yeah, they'll go into more details with it. They're smarter than we are, so. But we'll see how it goes. But it is December 6th, 11:20 Eastern Time, as we're getting ready to close this out. Any final thoughts, Mike, before we say goodbye to the beautiful people?
No, not. Just thank everybody that's been able to tune in to watch and give us some feedback. Has been very nice. Hopefully, the views will keep going up the more that we do it, because we'll start getting more of a regular rotation here. Obviously, we'll have Christmas and New Year's. That's going to be up in the air depending on family things, but just glad to get to do this every Friday. Most times every Friday with you. It's been fun. Looking forward to keep doing this, and yeah, got a lot of big things coming down the pike here with sports, and hopefully you guys can go to the Big Ten title game tomorrow. And I got my Friendsgiving I got to go to tomorrow night.
That'll be a fun time. But that is all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, wherever you may be listening to watching. Thanks again to AJ for allowing us to have this podcast on All Star 15 TV. Again, one more time, we're going to do it for the beautiful people. I'm going to read the ad one more time. W Energy is a brand of energy drinks designed to be clean, flavorful, and focused on energy. Use code AS15TV for 10% off your next order. Go to w.gg to place your order today. So be sure to do that. It's good, folks. It's made for you, but it's good. It tastes good. I think it's great. A lot of caffeine, gets you through the day. They say it's designed more for gamers. I think it can really be designed for anybody, especially if you need that quick boost of energy in the morning. But regardless, thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and we